But this family in the South Hill didn't expect to wake up in the morning and find this tree that fell inches away from their house. Firefighters recommend that trees like this stay at least 30 feet away from your home. This is what is left behind from this morning. You can see that there's still a lot of debris. And it wasn't until I asked for the public records that we learned much more personal information statewide was at risk. And I just got an updated number. They gave out 54 vaccines so far, and they have 46 left. Thankfully, the city was able to get it out of the way, but you can see still a lot of the branches are left over. With this exemption, it doesn't allow the troopers to interact with drivers on these roads. They're boarding up these windows. It's not because that they have been broken, but preparing for the fact that it can happen. We had some blowing dust, a little bit of a fire danger because of those winds. Getting you out the door at 8 o'clock, getting those kids to the bus stop. 40 degrees outside, sunny, sunny, sunny for the rest of the day. Yeah! Oh my gosh! I wish I could go on the jungle gym right now. There are a ton of things to do. There's a slide just to the left of me. For some, the weather might be delightful.
Yeah, I'll dodge snow. That's way better than dodging branches.
But to others, it might be frightful.
So I came out here and opened this front door with the glass screen, and this one just went boom, like right in front of me.
Brendan Sirachin said this tree has always been pretty sturdy, but Mother Nature had other plans.
About every hour or so, I'd hear kind of a crack, and I'd look, and oh, there's another tree down.
Luckily, others fell more than a few inches away from his front door.
But in my yard, there's probably about 15 branches, you know, in between, you know, some smaller than this, some a lot longer. I'm imagining if this happened here, it happened a lot of other places.
Trees came down across the county, including here at Southeast and 11th, where a tree toppled onto a trailer, and 21st and Freya, outside Tegan Cliff's house.
Very lucky because my grandma lives with us and she's on oxygen, so it would not go very well if it went through the house and we lost power or anything.
All the trees aren't going to be gone overnight.
So this is all just a process that's going to take several days to manage, and we'll work through it, and we just ask for people's patience.
The city will get rid of trees blocking the roads, but if it's on your property, you'll need to take care of it.
I've been here for 14 years, and I'm like, you know, I don't have a lot of need for lumberjacking. Gonna find a friend with a chainsaw or go buy a chainsaw.
While Sirachin plans his cleanup, he's just thankful that his family's safe.
I'm really happy it didn't hit my house. That's great. That's the best part.
The pandemic has put a lot of things into perspective, like how precious life is.
And a lot of family members were alone when they passed because in the beginning, the lockdown was so locked down.
Rebecca Heath knows a thing or two about death and the families left behind.
Actually, everyone that meets me outside works like, you're very bubbly. I don't see how you're a funeral director.
Heath worked in Walla Walla as a funeral director for most of the pandemic.
That was the biggest difference, is telling them what they could and couldn't do.
Another thing we couldn't do? Say goodbye with a hug, a touch, or a kiss.
Nobody was allowed to see her. She passed completely alone. So that was really, really hard.
Heath's mom, Olga, went to a Richland hospital 3 weeks after testing positive for COVID.
They allowed 15 minutes, 4 people, 2 at a time, and that was it. And just to know how sorry we are that she's alone. So that was, yeah, just praying and loving on her as best we could from afar.
Her mom was gone an hour later. She was only 58 years old.
We hadn't got to see her or hold her or touch her in over 2 weeks.
Heath made the hard choice of being her mom's funeral director.
If anyone was going to get to be the first one to take care of her, I wanted it to be me. And I just got to hold her and cry and tell her to take good care of her.
She laid her mom to rest in Walla Walla.
That's when the grief and the pain and the realization that she's gone was, you know, seeing her casket out there.
Heath moved to Spokane 2 months later and became the funeral director at Heritage. She started helping families emotionally and financially through FEMA's COVID-19 funeral assistance. It pays up to $9,000 in COVID funeral expenses.
They're just trying to give back. Mine's still in a pending status, so I don't know if it'll do anything, but that's money that's going to be used to help.
Families have to provide documents to FEMA, which Heath says every funeral home can give you.
If you can take an hour or 2 out of your day, the least you could do is apply and see if they can help you.
As Heath continues to comfort families going through their own loss,
getting to do my job every day is getting to help that family in a way that nobody else really can.
She's reflecting on her own.
Losing my mom, even outside COVID, just reminded me like the compassion it is to be in that room.
Kaitlin Knapp, 4 News Nightside. A drive home from work turned into a selfless act.
You just help people who need help.
Brandon Hinkle saw dust and a fire coming from this car. Inside, a woman.
And so I immediately stopped and called 911 on my way over there.
2 other drivers, Hector and Aaron, also stopped.
We were able to get up on the embankment and jump onto the side of the car because it was laying on its driver's side. We jumped onto the passenger side.
They tried to get the woman out through the door. It didn't work.
I ended up kicking out the windshield and that took a lot.
The rescuers got her out and they carried her away from the fire. But then the woman asked about her daughter.
We were all super nervous because we looked in the car and we double and triple checked and there was nobody else in the car. So we were just scared that there was.
Thankfully, the daughter wasn't in the car at all. However, something of Aaron's was.
Apparently, somehow it ended up in the vehicle and it did not survive the fire.
Officer Patrick Carbaugh is working with her phone company to try and get her a new one for free. In the meantime, he's thanking the 3 rescuers.
Had they not acted like they did, there would have been a fatality there. My hat's off to those people because they're modern day heroes. They did a good job.
Though Brandon doesn't see it that way.
That's not me. Not a hero. I feel like that's just something you do. You know, you help people who need help.
Before I go into what I found out, let's go through what exactly happened. On December 25th, the transfer company Excellion got hacked. The impact wasn't immediately known until the state auditor's office found out on January 12th. It took nearly a month to realize 1 million people who filed for unemployment had their personal information stolen. It then took another week for the auditor's office to notify people. And it wasn't until I asked for the public records that we learned much more personal information statewide was at risk. It was a hack that only made a bad situation worse for Washingtonians. Last year, with stolen information, crooks got away with $650 million from the Employment Security Department. The auditor's office was in the middle of investigating that hack when it fell victim to another security breach. This time, the company that was transferring information for the investigation got hacked as well.
I mean, it is ironic that this would happen.
Ironic and dangerous. Your information wasn't the only thing taken. At the time, the auditor's office disclosed that the breach hit state and local government agencies, but didn't say which ones. So I asked for more. And the public records response I received shows nearly 200 agencies had some form of information stolen, including the city of Spokane.
That was obviously our initial concern, is how widespread was this? Is it going to be just employees? And if it's going to be just employees, is that all 2,000 city employees, or is it a small subset? Does this go beyond to the communities? 11
city of Spokane employees had their personal information stolen. Other places hit include school districts like Central Valley, fire districts in Grant and Okanagan counties, and public hospitals, including Samaritan and Moses Lake.
The only information was on there was any information that was already public, for example, our name, address, date of the service that occurred, and the amount of the bill. That was pretty much what was compromised within those files.
Many agencies were willing to share with me how they were affected, yet the state auditor's office was adamant that they didn't want us to share this information with you. The office says these agencies are still at risk for extortion and ransomware, potentially putting your information in danger.
In this case, we feel comfortable and good about what we've done, and we're going to continue to be vigilant about it.
You just don't know what kind of system they have on the other side. And as organizations, we do the best we can to protect our patients, our information before it is sent out.
While these agencies are staying proactive to protect their information and yours, it's still a good idea to remain vigilant when giving out some of your most sensitive information.
Especially in the day and age where we're relying more and more on technology, it's concerning, and it's why we as a city operation are on it on a daily basis and have people specifically assigned to make sure that this kind of thing doesn't happen to us.